Welcome back, welcome back. I recently just flew from Singapore to JFK on Singapore Airlines business class because my boyfriend is obsessed with travel hacking and we found a really good deal. It's some of the best gluten-free food I've ever had, and not just on a plane. I can't wait to show you all of it. Hi, I'm Sarah. In 2021, I was diagnosed with celiac disease at 23 years old. I had a really hard time processing this major life change, and I thought I couldn't do the things I loved, like traveling. But I've been determined to continue to live life to the fullest, and since my diagnosis, I've been able to travel to 21 countries. Now I plan on traveling all around the world and finding the best gluten-free food along the way. This was our first time flying business class, so obviously we had to visit the business class lounge. All of the food here looked so good, but sadly, I didn't get to try any. It honestly wasn't worth the effort for me. The food that KJ got looked so good, but I didn't want to risk it, and I knew that I was going to be eating on the plane shortly. And honestly, I'm glad I saved up my appetite. Also, this is a reminder, anytime you're taking a long haul flight, make sure you book your gluten-free meal ahead of time. The deadline is usually within 24 to 48 hours, but I've been able to do my gluten-free meal booking right upon booking my ticket. So just make sure you don't forget that. Girls gotta eat. Then it was time to board the longest flight in the world.
Got some chocolate for our flight attendants. Business class, business class. I'm so excited. First glass of champagne.
And let me tell you, these were the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in. And not just on an airplane. Not only were we in business class with lie flat seats and gorgeous amenities, we were in the bulkhead row, which meant extra space. And even more legroom than the business class seats right behind us. It was incredible and the best way to spend 19 hours. I can't even believe we spent that much time on a plane.
Already scheduled my next champagne glass by accident. She said, "Do you want another one after takeoff?" And I said, "Why not?" First meal in business class. I feel like a queen. I've never had real silverware before. And so there is a menu, but I didn't order anything off of it because I did my managed booking beforehand and pre-ordered gluten-free meals. So I asked what this was when it came out because it's not on the menu. And it's the couscous with turkey and pear, I believe. They give me a lot of condiments, so I have oil, which I used, and I also butter. And then I also got whole milk, which honestly I'm really confused about.
Sarah, it's for coffee.
Because I've had couscous before, but maybe not in a fancy setting. I don't know if I'm supposed to pour out whole milk over my dish.
It's for coffee, Sarah. It's for coffee.
So far the meal is great. The couscous is wonderful. The meat is also delicious, and the pear. I also paired it with German Riesling. That's delicious. Also, water, because stay hydrated. You get dehydrated very easily on flights. All right, here's the main course. I got the beef and the sweet potato puree with onions and peas that are delicious, and I believe a little potato square. It's really good. This is honestly, whoa. It's bumpy. This is some of the best food, just ever. I'm also thinking now that the milk is for a different dish later on, but we cannot be sure yet. It's definitely not for this one. Imagine if I just started pouring milk over all my food. It's probably for coffee. Alright, so now it's time for dessert. It looks like they brought me some fresh fruit, which looks delicious. I've been missing dragon fruit, and pear cake. And she confirms every time, whoa. She says gluten-free and confirms it every time she brings me anything, and it looks delicious. Ooh, that looks so spongy. Whoa, we're really into the pears today. This is so good. I don't know if you can see that. You can't see that, but it's so cakey.
Then it was time to get some sleep. And I truly mean this because how else are you gonna spend 19 hours on a plane? I didn't want to waste any second, but that's why you get a lie flat seat, of course. Lying down horizontally for the first time was magical. And then after watching a movie and sleeping a little bit more, we ate again.
So I got a prosciutto plate with like some kind of yogurt or cheese at the bottom. I'm leaning more towards yogurt. It doesn't taste that good. But the prosciutto's good. And I'm pretty hungry. I also got a gluten-free bread roll that is ice cold, but I'm hoping that it tastes good. Gage, can you try to open this? Oh, I found the tear slip. Never mind. Oh goodness. It's hard as a rock. We're gonna give it a go. Let's see. That is so dry. I'm really not the biggest fan of when bread is that dry that you have a hard time swallowing. Hopefully I can get some more water. So far though, course one, great. More water required. This is such a new sensation for me, lying down on the plane and eating with a whole dinner setup. I can get used to this. Sadly, we only have 7 hours left. Thank you. Thank you. It looks like chicken. Chicken, rice, green beans, and mushrooms. With a glaze that looks really good. Oh, that's the moistest chicken I've ever had on a plane. It's definitely better than boiled chicken, but I don't think I'm that impressed, unfortunately. The dessert is in. Everyone else got cake. I got this like upside down, what tastes like those little fruit cups things. And they're really good. And I also got fruit. We were also served chicken satay on the plane. It was absolutely delicious and the most juicy chicken that I've ever had on an airplane. If you watched my last video traveling to Australia, I had really dry boiled chicken on the airplane. This just did not compare. And then somehow the 19 hours is coming to a close. So at the end of the flight, I slept a little bit more. I read my book and then we were landing in New York City. Thanks for sticking with me. That was such a fun flight. The worst part about the whole travel day was that I had a few too many glasses of champagne, aka 2, right when we were taking off and not enough water to supplement, so I got a headache very early on. So just make sure you're bringing a lot of water on these long haul flights because you get dehydrated very quickly. Now I tend not to drink at all, but since we were in business class, I figured I would treat myself. The best part about the whole experience was the amount of food that I ate. We were essentially on this plane for a whole day and the gluten-free options were incredible. And honestly, this video is pretty easy to film. I genuinely think we were eating on the plane for half of the 19 hours of the flight. We ate a lot. I can't wait to share more gluten-free travel, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of those videos. And if you have just 2 seconds, it would really help me out a lot if you liked this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm curious, what's the best gluten-free meal you've ever had on a plane? Or the worst, but I like to keep it a little positive. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.